While embracing my crying son, I heard the sound of screeching brakes and something colliding. Immediately after, I heard my mother-in-law's voice. "Oh dear, I didn't see them." She probably didn't check on the person she hit. She said it with a half-smile. Ignoring her, I continued to embrace my son and rushed towards the fallen person. "My husband is in trouble. Please call an ambulance." "Huh? What? Why are you there? And then who did I hit?" My mother-in-law turned pale as she quickly realized her mistake. "My name is Emma, 25 years old. I lost my parents at a young age and grew up in a facility. It's a common story. At first, I was quiet and withdrawn, but by the time I left the facility, I had become an optimistic person after meeting someone that was like an older brother figure. After graduating from high school, I aimed to become a full-time employee while working part-time at a restaurant. And due to the labor shortage, and with my hard work recognized, I was able to become a full-time employee within a year. Despite long working hours, I enjoyed my job. Then, my husband Liam joined the company as a junior colleague. Liam had switched careers from another industry, so I was unsure how to interact with him as a senior colleague. He sensed that and listened attentively to me, expressing his gratitude.
"Emma, your explanations are thorough and easy to understand. Thank you for everything."
I was strongly attracted to Liam, who treated me with kindness and respected without displaying any negative attitude towards me despite being 10 years younger. When Liam proposed the relationship, despite concerns from those around us, I gave my consent, and we began dating.
"You're only 22 years old, and you may have many things you want to do, but I'm already 32, right? I do respect your opinion, but if you're okay with it, Emma, I want to spend more time with you."
I immediately accepted Liam's marriage proposal, as he even showed concern for me during the proposal. Above all, having lost my family at a young age, I had a strong longing for a family. I wanted to create a happy home together with him. That's what I had in mind. However, I grew up in an institution. As a result, I have faced various hardships because of it. Liam's parents divorced when he was young. Since then, it seems he has had no contact with his father. As a result, Liam's mother raised him single-handedly. I was very worried that Liam's mother, who had lived with him as a single mother, would object to his marriage to someone like me, who had grown up in an institution. "Oh my, you're such an adorable young lady. Your eyes are so round and your skin is beautiful." "I'm Emma." "I've heard about you from Liam. He mentioned that you grew up in an institution." "Ah, yes." I instinctively tensed up. I thought it was going to be a failure after all. "Oh, no! Don't make that face. It's all right, it's all right. It's perfect." "Huh? It's perfect?" The way my mother-in-law said it bothered me a little.
"Oh, Mom, you've always wanted a cute daughter, right?"
Liam stepped in to support me. "That's right. I've always wanted a daughter." I somehow felt like I was being deceived. But more than that, I was happy that I was accepted without any problems and allowed to get married.
"From now on, we're a family of 3.
Saying that, Liam patted my shoulder from behind. "Yes, that's right. Emma, when are you moving here?" "Huh? Here?"
"Oh, we haven't talked about living together yet."
With a casual tone as if he had just forgotten to buy bread, Liam spoke. I couldn't help but feel a sense of discomfort, but in front of my newly approved mother-in-law, I couldn't get angry or firmly refuse. I remained silent, unable to say anything. "In this town, it's common for the eldest son's wife to live together with a family."
"I'm sorry for not explaining, but Emma, you're okay with it, right? You've lived with other people in the facility, and despite the constant coming and going, everyone got along well. You even took care of everyone, right?"
"Well, but,
Huh? Don't you like it? Don't you want to get married? You want to become part of my family, don't you?"
Faced with Liam speaking in a slightly intimidating tone, I couldn't refuse. And so we began our cohabitation after getting married. At first, things were going well, and I collaborated with my mother-in-law and Liam in doing household chores, managing to balance family and work successfully. However, after 6 months, both my mother-in-law's and Liam's attitudes started to change.
Haven't you had a baby yet? You're so young, it's a shame you can't conceive.
What do you mean?
Mom, stop it. I'm eating right now. You can talk about that stuff when I'm not around,
Liam uttered in a deeply annoyed tone. Liam said it not to defend me, but because he doesn't want complaints about his wife in front of him, as it would ruin his appetite.
You too. Honestly, even though you look decent, your housework and salary are just average, and now you can't even have children. What's the point of getting a wife? And did you choose properly?
No parents, a lonely young woman. Her housekeeping is decent, and she hasn't been with any other men. She's clean, and her appearance is decent. She meets all the conditions you mentioned, doesn't she?
I wish they would have such discussions, at least, when I'm not around. Is it just because I'm young and selfish that I feel this way? Do other wives endure such things in the world? While thinking about these things, I could only pretend not to hear as I continued doing the dishes. Even though such conversations happen on a daily basis, I still want to create a happy family somehow. Maybe things will change if we have a child. I believe that if I worked harder on housework and improved my salary, things would get better. Since having a child is a precious gift, I made an effort to work overtime and earn more money than when I was single. I also felt the need to excel in housework, so I would finish cleaning and laundering before work, and when I returned home, I would prepare dinner for the 3 of us and continue with more housework. It's frustrating because my mother-in-law, who probably did the housework before I came, stopped doing it after we started living together and would only complain, leaving me to handle everything.
Since you used to take care of a large number of people, it shouldn't be a big deal to handle just 3, right?
I was made to do all the household chores by myself, even when I came home after working overtime. Liam now works at the head office instead of the field, and he often finishes work on time. However, he rarely helps with household chores. Without defending me against my mother-in-law, Liam would come home and lock himself in his room. Apart from meals, he would put on headphones and play online games, so there was hardly any conversation between us as a married couple. However, my mother-in-law continued to control everything, and on the days when she gave instructions, he would reluctantly come out of his room and spend time in my bedroom. And finally, the day came when I could no longer bear being under complete control.
You did it! It's a baby! A baby!
My condition worsened, so I went to the hospital for a checkup and discovered that I was pregnant. It had been a year since our marriage, and it was a long-awaited moment. During my pregnancy, my mother-in-law's attitude improved so much that she seemed like a completely different person and became kinder. However, I wanted to continue working, but due to my mother-in-law's actions, I was forced to quit my job.
She's supposed to be on her break right now, isn't she? She's not answering the phone.
She started calling the store to reach me. Ma'am, sometimes breaks can be rescheduled when she's busy.
But she's pregnant, you know. What do you think about that? What if something happens to the baby? My grandchild. What will you do? You're not making her carry heavy objects, are you?
During my work, I receive calls like this multiple times a day. The store manager expressed concern for me, but mentioned that it was causing disruption to the tasks of other employees. I apologize for causing any inconvenience. I hate to put it this way, but as far as your mother-in-law goes, are things going well with Liam? The store manager, being a woman, was one of the people who expressed concern when I announced my marriage to Liam. However, despite her genuine worries and advice, I chose to ignore them and got married anyway. I couldn't say such things as our married life isn't going well while being pregnant. After that, my mother-in-law took the lead in household chores, ensuring healthy meals, moderate exercise, and proper sleep. I followed my mother-in-law's instructions and lived a restricted life, managing my weight according to the ideal for a pregnant woman, all the while thinking about the well-being of the baby. And I safely gave birth to a healthy baby boy.
He's such a cute little boy. Both Liam and I have curly hair, but this child takes after you, Emma, with smooth and beautiful hair.
During the pregnancy, my mother-in-law insisted that her grandchild should have smooth and straight hair because she was self-conscious about her own curly hair. While I believed that our child would be adorable either way, I felt relieved that my mother-in-law had expressed such a preference. I was anxious about her reaction.
Oh, how about the name Marlon? It sounds nice, doesn't it?
Huh? I actually had another name in mind.
What? It's my grandchild, you know. Plus, it's the name of my favorite actor. It's a handsome name, isn't it?
Naming a child based on such reasons? I glanced at Liam, who was playing games on his phone with little interest in our newborn son in the corner of the hospital room. Liam noticed my gaze, but quickly averted his eyes.
Since Mom will take care of him, why not choose a name that Mom likes?
I couldn't believe my ears. Mom will raise him. I will raise him myself. He's my child.
I know, right? It's a cool name, isn't it? What is this person talking about?
As my mother-in-law was soothing our son, she referred to me as this person.
But...
Indeed, he is my son, whom I gave birth to and suffered for. I wanted to have the authority to decide his name. Even though my job has been taken away and our family is far from ideal at the moment, I thought this was something I couldn't compromise on.
But it's not like that. I'm supporting you, and Liam is working for us. You were able to have this child and have a life, right? Your own husband is telling you to obey your mother-in-law, so keep quiet.
In the face of my resistance, my mother-in-law spoke strongly.
That's right. Don't cause trouble. If you want to be with our son, just follow along.
In the private room, with only the three of us, being criticized by two people, and faced with the threat that I had to obey if I wanted to stay together, I couldn't resist any further. And after being discharged from the hospital, just as Liam had said, the household chores became my responsibility, while my mother-in-law took charge of childcare, creating a completely reversed dynamic. However, my mother-in-law's childcare principles were based on outdated ideas, and she seemed to have a preference against feeding the baby with formula milk. So when my son was hungry, she resentfully let me hold him.
They say it's better to breastfeed for at least 6 months. Until then, I guess you're necessary, so there's no helping it.
She continues to say such things. I was anxious about what would happen after 6 months. Would I be kicked out, perhaps? It was impossible for me to leave without a job. Moreover, even if they were to drive me out, I would never let go of my son. But would they really separate a mother from her child like that? I was full of anxiety, and simply getting through each day was a struggle. My son, born in the summer, was growing healthily and thriving, oblivious to my anxious feelings, and had started crawling. Susie, how about taking him out and letting him interact with other children soon?
Huh? You don't have to think about that. Well, I guess it's not a bad idea.
Then, how about the day after tomorrow? There seems to be an event at a nearby park.
Well, fine then. I don't want people to think I'm weird. You're coming with me the day after tomorrow.
It's good that I come along too? I didn't think I would be able to go together. I still worried about my son, who was mostly interacting with my mother-in-law, so I thought it would be good to provide him with some stimulation.
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm the one who will mainly do the talking, okay? After all, you haven't been involved in childcare, have you?
I thought it might be my mother-in-law's fault for not letting me, but I didn't want to say anything that would upset her and prevent me from going out with my son, so I kept quiet. And then, on the day of the event, I was able to spend a delightful time with my son. The event staff perhaps unaware of the situation, or perhaps because I introduced her as my mother-in-law, seemed to understand something. And even if my mother-in-law tried to do something with my son, "Since it's your first time, let's do it together with Mom." They guided us in this way. As a result, I was able to spend an unexpectedly long time with my son. I thought I would be criticized on the way back home, but my mother-in-law remained eerily silent and seemed to be deep in thought.
"Please bring Marlon inside. You're not a good driver, so I'll do it."
"Yes, thank you."
"Oh, but I want you to look behind, so come out at least once."
I wonder if my son is tired from playing so much. I carefully lifted my soundly sleeping son out of the child seat, holding him to not wake him up, and gently laid him in the baby bed. At that moment, I heard a sound of collision and brakes, followed by my mother-in-law's voice.
"Oh, dear, I didn't see."
What I saw from the entrance was my mother-in-law, who made no attempt to rush to help the person who had collapsed. Instead, she loudly and artificially made excuses, seemingly for the benefit of the neighbors. The fallen person was my husband.
"My husband is in trouble. Please call an ambulance quickly." "Huh? Why are you there? Then who did I hit?"
My mother-in-law's face turned pale in an instant. Yes, she had mistaken my husband for me, and pretended to park the car by reversing straight into him.
"Quick! Call an ambulance! You ran over Liam!" "No, that can't be. I mean, I checked the jacket. I made sure I had the right jacket."
I was in shock, and although I held some resentment, I couldn't bring myself to believe that my mother-in-law was unable to make a phone call. After all, she was someone I had once loved. I rushed to the phone and called an ambulance, and at the same time, I called the police. Liam managed to survive, but the impact to his lower back was severe. This meant that walking freely would be challenging for him from now on, and he would rely on a wheelchair for mobility. Additionally, his shoulders seemed to have taken a significant hit, affecting the functionality of his dominant hand, and his right wrist appeared to have limited movement as well.
"Let's get a divorce. I never expected my mother to go this far. I'm sorry for dragging you into all the mess between my mother and me. I truly apologize."
When Liam woke up, he inquired about his own condition and what had happened to his mother from the doctors and the police. It was as if a weight had been lifted off his shoulders, and he sincerely apologized to me. "Instead of just apologizing, I wish you had focused more on me and our son and protected us. I wanted you to make an effort to become a family."
"I'm sorry for taking away the best time of your life. I don't know what I can do in this condition, but I want to do everything I can."
Remember those words. After confirming that Liam's condition has stabilized and obtaining temporary discharge permission, I headed to the prison where my mother-in-law was. It would have been enough to simply divorce Liam, but that alone didn't satisfy me. "It's been a while, mother-in-law." I thought there might be words of apology, but that hope vanished in an instant.
"It's because of you that I ended up in this place. What about my grandchild? How is Marlon doing? If I leave him in the hands of a useless person like you, Marlon will be ruined."
I was astonished by her rotten mindset. However, now, despite her assertiveness, my mother-in-law, who was dressed plainly and without makeup, appeared small. When I came here, I thought maybe there was no need for further blame, but I felt no need to hold back in response to my mother-in-law's attitude. I felt relieved and ready to confront her with the appropriate consequences. No matter how much you try to act tough or belittle me, you're a criminal locked behind bars, and you can't do anything more. I, on the other hand, am free to do whatever I want.
"What kind of disrespectful talk is that coming from a foolish daughter-in-law like you?"
"I'm not your daughter-in-law anymore. I'm a complete stranger."
"What?"
"We got divorced. I couldn't bear the attacks from my mother wanting a grandchild, so as a result I forcibly found a woman who met my mother's conditions and made her have a child. Never expected it would come to the point of causing harm. I can't keep up with you anymore either, mother or not.
Can't keep up, huh? What about Marlon, then? We don't need a daughter-in-law like you, anyway. The important thing is our grandchild, and I do care about you, Liam, even if it was a mistake.
Yes, that's right. You mistook Liam because he was wearing the sweater that you gave me. On that day, as it had been a long time since I went out, I didn't have any appropriate clothes to wear. After giving birth, I didn't have much time to rest and was constantly active, so I lost weight. My mother-in-law was unusually kind to me.
Don't you have anything suitable to wear? It's cold today. I'm not wearing this right now, so I'll lend it to you.
And she lent me a branded eye-catching orange sweater. Then, at that moment when I was trying to lay Marlon down on the bed, he suddenly woke up and started crying. I was having trouble separating from my son, so I happened to ask Liam, who was about to go out saying he was going shopping nearby, to help me guide the car. And since Liam was slightly dressed, I thought he might feel cold while guiding the car. He seemed fine with it, despite being a man, so I lent him the sweater.
That's right. I marked it so that I wouldn't hit anyone other than you, but you had to meddle unnecessarily. It's because of you that I'm here.
This is a prison. You're currently awaiting trial, and the police are listening in from behind. So it was planned, right?
Because you gave birth to a grandchild but became useless and keep lingering around. Maybe if you get hospitalized, there will be a period when you're not here, right? Just kicking you out might result in you taking Marlon away, you know.
Is that so? So you deliberately stepped on the accelerator thinking it was me. We are getting divorced, so you are a stranger to me. Marlon is also a stranger to you, and you have no visitation rights. Do you even realize where you are? That's exactly what would negatively impact Marlon. I imagine my mother-in-law had a look of frustration, and she began pleading with Liam while crying.
Liam, you'll help me, right? Just get me out of here for now.
Didn't I already say I can't handle this anymore? I have no intention of helping you. And I don't plan on letting you see your son, or even showing you his picture ever again.
No! No!
Susie pounded on the partition window of the visitation room and screamed, but we ignored her and left the room. Meanwhile, behind us, the correctional officer's angry shouts echoed, and we could hear someone being taken away, screaming. Liam's face twisted slightly, but I felt a sense of relief. I would no longer be troubled by my mother-in-law. Liam promised to pay both alimony and child support. It seems that his dominant hand can move, but his favorite game requires the use of both hands, so everything he invested in it, including in-app purchases, seems to have been in vain. He says he can never do it again. He pleaded with the company to somehow let him stay, explaining that even in a wheelchair with only one hand, he would still be able to do computer work. The company, understanding his situation, agreed to keep employing him, albeit with a reduced salary. And I decided to return to work. It seems that this story was conveyed to the female manager through someone related to Liam. Because it also concerns your son, I would like you to contact me, even if it's after you've calmed down. I've been concerned about it all this time, but I couldn't do anything. And this time, I really want you to rely on me. She says so, and promised to rehire me. And now the families in the facility who were like older brothers to me have kindly allowed me to stay until things settle down, and I am preparing for a fresh start. This time, I'm determined to express my aspirations, protect what's important to me, and live a fulfilling life while maintaining open and effective communication with others. I'll cherish those invaluable elements every step of the way.